with the shades on.
Shades.
Welcome back, everybody, to another Max webinar. My name is Joey, and we're joined by founder and CEO of Scalers, YouTube super affiliate, Facebook super affiliate, Alex Micol.
Boo, 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 boo. What's up?
Welcome,
Thank you
welcome.
for having
Thanks
me.
for joining us.
Thank you. Yeah, excited. It's round number 2. So,
Yeah, round 2 on the channel. Welcome back.
yes, thank you very much.
So,
Cheers. Yeah.
I know you're just coming off of a conference in Barcelona. How did that go?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's feels like home, man. Like I grew up in that. I grew up at that conference. I'm 26 now, but my first one was 18 when I was 18, and I never missed a single affiliate world. And yeah, I just have so many friends there. It's always good to be there. Like without even wanting, I get informed about how the market goes, so I'm at the right place at the right time, having fun and meeting new companies to potentially scale up. So what do you want more?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. You haven't missed one. You've been in it for a while. That's great.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
well, you said the magic word, scale up. That leads me into our first question. I figured we'd start light with something that you know a lot about, and
Yeah.
that's scaling.
Scaling.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, put the glasses on for scaling. So I wanted to ask you. Obviously, you've gone over launching a YouTube campaign from the beginning, um, but how do you determine when a campaign is ready to be scaled? Like, is it a certain metric? And then, what does actually scaling it look like? Are you just increasing the budget, or is there more to
No, just that. No, there. I mean,
it?
before getting to that point, we need to have the right metrics. So if it starts printing money from day one, I keep it chill. I just start spending a bit more for a couple days. Let's give numbers to it. I start running a campaign at $500 per day budget because my payout is around $100. So that's at least what I want to be spending, if not more. If I see I'm, the first days, I'm I'm already making profits, it's a very good case scenario, then I just double the budget. If the ROI remains profitable, I just double the budget. And I keep doing that until I have a solid ROI. But I don't scale aggressively up if I don't see that there is stability. So and in order to have stability, let's introduce the magic keyword VSLs. In order to have stability, we need to have the right video sales letters that starts printing that money. And before being overly confident, we need to be sure that the campaign can sustain the growth, the scale, the increase budgets, because otherwise it's likely going to break. And very often it breaks because we spend little, we see good results, we increase it, and it just dies. And then we need to scale back, and then it's profitable again. Why? Because that ad is going to only perform at a certain amount of budget, which is very low because the ad is simply not good enough. So first thing we need to do before we need to invest time in making good ads, testing them out. And I made a very good case scenario at the beginning that you just start putting money right away, which can be the case, but likely it's not going to be the case. So you're always going to need to test different approaches, different intros, different hooks to the VSLs, different products, because not every product works. And yeah, it's a broader topic. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it's not just doubling it until it breaks, but it kind of is as well.
When it works, and it's double until it breaks, like even triplicate. On YouTube, it's limited by budget. The magic button that appears when you start hitting that target CPA, and the platform knows you can spend more, it's gonna recommend you usually to triplicate. So you can go from 1K a day to 3K a day to 9K a day to 27 to 81. So it can be pretty fast. Like it's a fast track, like at the airport. You just skip all the small increases that other gurus tell you to do. They tell you to remember this. And by the way, this helped me scale better on Facebook as well, because back in the days, all the gurus slash fake gurus would tell you to only increase the budgets by 10, 20, 15% a day max. But if you have winning ads, you can be more aggressive than that. Sometimes you're going to see fluctuations. That's inevitable, especially in Facebook. But again, it's all matter. Like what matters the most is the creative. So that there's no way around it, and that's the only thing that matters to my point of view. Because back in the days, you had to media buy, you had to know how to target things and this and that. Nowadays, you just set up the pixel, can help yourself with other tools to track better the sales, offline conversions, or hires, whatever it is for Facebook. But other than that, just make the best possible ad you can and work on that. That's the only thing. And when you
Yeah,
start printing money, triplicate. Yeah.
good ads. It always comes back to good ads.
Yeah. That's
I
core.
always laugh, like in advertising, you have to have good ads. It's a shocker to some people.
Yeah. Yeah. Many people think about many other things that are not super related. Like on Facebook, do you do CBO or ad sets? How many ad sets do you put in a campaign? This and that. And I'm like, no, 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 wait. If you have a banger ad, it's gonna work regardless. Just get it to spend, test it out, and it's gonna work. And it doesn't matter what you do. It can matter a bit, but I mean, like Pareto 80-20 rule, what's gonna move mountains is your ad. What's gonna give you minimal increases in profits or whatever in performance are all those short gimmicks that today you create a CBO or you put different whatever. Like that's not a principle. That's just what works today on your account and your for your subjective experience. But every ad account is different. Every campaign is different. What will always be true is what the user sees, which is your ad. The users are never gonna see how you set up your campaigns. So I want to clarify that, and I want to spread this message throughout the industry. Yeah.
No, that's a great way of mentioning it and referring to it. I appreciate that. That's great insight. I also love that you mentioned the 80-20 rule. I kind of wanted to ask you about that today. I wanted to ask you what your 20 is. What's the 20% that you do that leads to 80% of the outcome for you?
Well, I just said it, but I mean, it's the ad for sure, and working with the right people. So one thing that I had a hard time, running after the shiny objects in the room and always hearing, "Oh, that niche works well. This product works well. This and that." I and also thanks to my partner, actually, I really focus on a few things and just one thing on one product until it works. And I think that's the best thing you can do. Like at the beginning, I would take a look at every possible metric, but everything that matters is your ROI. So it doesn't matter what your CPC is, doesn't matter what your CTR is, nothing matters, because if you're making money, you're making money. If you're not making money, then your ad just sucks, or the flow you build sucks. So that's what matters the most. So your CPA, your cost per purchase, and the ad, and that's what moves mountains. Sometimes we think like, oh, again, same thing, campaign settings, targetings, this and that. But are you doing the one thing that is the most important out there, or you're just messing around and overthinking? So I think that's a good question to ask and to be aware of. And so focus on what matters the most, which is finding the right brands that have the best VSLs in the game, making the best hooks, best ads to promote that VSL, and that's it.
Oh, love it. That's great insight. Thank you. Thank you. So obviously our viewers they lean into the VSL space, the health supplement VSL space.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you why it is you think VSLs work so well on YouTube, specifically health supplement VSLs. But why do they work so well there?
Well, I think supplements are very they solve very relatable problems. Everyone wants to be fit, everyone wants to burn fat, lose fat, and get that beach body or solve any generic pain that people have. So that's why I think they work very well, because they're very broad. They don't only work well on YouTube, they work well everywhere. Especially in the US, like US goes crazy for supplements. They have the supplements department in the States is nuts. They're so big, and they're growing in Europe as well, where I am right now. And also content wise, it's very easy to come up with new content. So like supplements generally have to do with what you're eating, and for weight loss, for example, you can easily go into foods, and it's very easy to come up with facts around foods, or shocking information about certain types of food, or what foods are better for you, what foods are worse for you, and compare different foods. So there are so many different angles that you can also come up with, and that makes it very easy to create content and then create a story. So and yeah, so it doesn't only work on YouTube, it works everywhere, native, Facebook, same game.
Right. Yeah. No, definitely have seen it work everywhere.
Yeah.
Just coming to the YouTube master for the answers. Um, so do you find it easier to come up with hooks for health supplements compared to other verticals, or?
I mean, I've been doing it more than for other products, so I've been very vertical on this for many years. So sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's less easier because sometimes it's just repetitive. So you're like, oh my god, I tried everything, but then you always come up with something new. So I have no idea how many hooks I tested. Like countless, and also it's very easy to come up with new hooks because we don't need any fancy equipment. I think I said it last time as well that we can just use our phones to record, you know, any different food, and that's going to be catchy enough for the viewers to actually stop. So we need that's the creative part that goes into sustaining a VSL. So it a VSL will not die off like out of nowhere in a very short amount of time. What will die off are the first few seconds that everyone already saw. So we need to change those first few seconds and find something different. And the best way to do that is just to grab your phone and record different things. And you can be very creative there. Like I did all sorts of stuff. I mixed foods with different foods. I put foods over on top of other foods. I created drinks. And then created different voiceovers. So anything that can grab the attention and has um, there is a correlation to what comes after. So it's not like I make a hook that has nothing to do with what I'm gonna say after. I always try to find like a point of contact with, you know, the next message that comes after the first 5 seconds. So there's a correlation, and that usually works better. So yeah.
So so you're just testing different hooks in front of the same main ad VSL. When one dies out, you just create some new hooks and test those using the same main ad.
Yeah. So assuming your VSL works and for the product you're promoting, then you have the luxury to do that. So and also, if you're given a VSL, you should always create different hooks to try to find a winning ad that works. So yes, in short, the answer is yes. I just changed the hooks. I have VSLs running for the past 2-3 years unchanged. The only thing that changes are the first few seconds, and after a few months, I change the first minute or two, and that's what I do. Like I rotate. Like I see the VSL. It's like could be long, like 40 minutes, but I see it in blocks. So it's pointless to change the last blocks after 30, 40 minutes because not the majority of people didn't even get to see that. So what obviously makes sense is to change the first few blocks. So the hook and the intro, let's say, to the long VSL. So if you change the hook and the intro to a VSL, that's going to be enough for you to keep up the freshness, to don't feel the ad fatigue as much. So if you rotate those blocks, you come up with new angles, you come up with new hooks, you're good.
That's
And
awesome. That's super good info.
yes, and it also takes some time. So it doesn't mean that you test 5, they're not gonna work, and oh yeah, the product is dead. Like sometimes I go a few like a month or so before I find something new. It happens. Also, it's seasonal, and a lot of people panic that they had a brilliant product that performed very well, 30% ROI, $30,000 a day spent, for example, and for a month or two, and then it dies off, and it doesn't work for 1-2 weeks. They immediately trash the product, and I think that's very big mistake and a very big opportunity for anyone that picks up the offer and just continues testing. So be careful, guys. Like just continue testing. It's normal to not find a winner and suck for a few weeks, even 1-2 months. Like that's why it's good to work with different products. So if one goes down, you have the other one, and reverse. And the same goes with ad platforms. So we mentioned YouTube, but you can take the same VSL with the same hooks and run them on Facebook. If they work and you're running on horizontal, you just adapt later on. You make them more squared, and there you go. You run the same offer on two platforms at different scales, but I think if you run both at this on the same on the two platforms, you're gonna double the revenue and profits you're doing right now. So yeah.
Do you do that often? Run the same VSL on Facebook and YouTube at the same time?
If I'm allowed to, yes. I say allowed to because the people I work with, they have different partners for different traffic sources, and not always we have the honor to run on both traffic sources. But I know for a fact that both platform works. And when I do get the opportunity, it's a big party because we literally copy paste, we apply the same things on both platforms and they work. So if you have a winning, and that's something you can do with YouTube ads, put them on Facebook, because a lot of Facebook ads, they're, I don't know, maybe too short or not good enough or just vertical, and that doesn't really work too well. You can make them work on YouTube ads, but you can do the opposite. So if a winning YouTube ads, it's very easy to just put it on Facebook. And yeah, and for example, just recently I took a very old product that they gave me. They're running out of, sorry, they want to get rid of the inventory. So I just took my YouTube ads, 2 years old, untouched, put them on Facebook, started spending 5K a day profitably. Nothing big, but just as a recent case study that you could just rip them off and just put them on Facebook and it works. And at the same time, I always talk to my partners, and the scale is just big on both platforms for the same product with the same VSL. So yeah, it's both are great.
So yeah, for the average everyday affiliate, definitely double dip YouTube and Facebook, same ads.
Yeah, like one of my students, he was doing well on Facebook, and I'm like, all right, I think it's time to go for YouTube. I was like, yeah, but I need to create new ads. I was like, no, 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 no. Just take the VSL you created on Facebook. This is a good format for YouTube. Upload it on YouTube and let me know how it goes, because that's what you need to do at some point. And not only that, there are many easy ways to scale up once you have something winning. For example, if you just run US, go ask MaxWeb if you can run the same product in the UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. It's literally a matter of copy pasting for the affiliate, not for you guys, because you need to set up the whole operation / talk to the advertiser and be sure you can handle it. But on a media buying perspective, you just need to copy paste, and same language, it's likely going to work. Actually, that's how it usually works. We just duplicate it in Australia or UK, and it's a big party because, especially UK, we can, spend extra money per day, and it's great.
Yeah, no, a lot of our offers are open in many geos. So
Yeah.
for the most part, it is easy. And that's another great tip. Thank you. So next, I kind of wanted to ask you about something that took you by surprise. Maybe it's an ad or a pre-sale or an offer, something that you thought would work and then didn't, or maybe something that you didn't think would work, but you still tested and ended up being a huge success.
All the time, man. No ego in this game. Yeah, like don't fall in love with your test. Don't fall in love with the ads you created or the product you're testing, because just be humble. Just test different approaches. Test things you would personally like to see as an ad and things that you wouldn't like to see. So create different personas in your head. Like think about what your mom would click on, what your grandma would click on, what your friend would click on, what people with other interests and genders would click on. So be open-minded about your testing, and you never know what's going to work. Of course, you should develop ads that that have the highest chance to win. You should, but also sometimes while creating ads, if you're creating ads, you know what I'm talking about. You create different variants, and you're like, maybe I could try this other variant. I'm not sure if it works, but if there's some logic to it, just test it. And sometimes by surprise, the ad that I didn't think would work works the best, and the ad that I truly believed in and I thought that was gonna be $1 million ad just doesn't do anything. So you never know, man. The name of the game is test, 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 and that's what you should be doing in a smart way. Obviously, you don't want to test all sorts of approaches, but it can be a thin line. But if you're in the game and you know what I'm talking about, the line can be also well defined, and it's just a matter of coming up with different variations, thinking about different personas, and trying to hit different emotions, different people with that, and yeah, more chances. So an ad is just a lottery ticket. So the more different lottery tickets you buy, the higher the chances are to win. If they're all the same and you just change a few things, you could just run one ad. So it doesn't matter if you change, I don't know, the tone of the voice a bit, or the color of a frame, or I mean, if fundamentally the ad is the same, it's not a great test. So make sure to come up with different angles, and you're gonna have better chances of winning the lottery.
I really like that lottery ticket example. Actually, I've never heard that, but it makes a lot of sense in this
Yeah, it
scenario.
is a fucking. I mean, you hit one ad, you can scale it to millions of views on YouTube or on Facebook. It is a freaking lottery because you end up winning hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars in profits. So it is a lottery.
Yeah,
Let's see it
no,
how it is.
it's an incredible way of looking at
Yeah.
it. We're not
Mhm.
gambling, but it is a lottery ticket.
Sometimes
A
we
little
are
bit of
gambling.
gambling, a little bit.
I mean, we don't want to be degenerates, but we want to be degenerates at spending when things are going extremely well. So, when you start spending an apartment per day on advertising, you start feeling like you might be gambling. It's not, because it's all predictable and it's science and you have a feeling that it's going to go well. But when you start spending 100K a day, at first, I remember like 3 years ago, at first it felt like, what if it goes wrong? So, but yeah, some productive and smart degeneracy is needed. Don't be
Yeah, no,
afraid to
I love it.
spend when the ROI is there. Yeah.
Was there anything that helped you get over like the fact that you were spending 100K a day on ads, or was it just seeing the payout?
I mean, I remember clearly the first time we got to that, because it happened in like probably like 4 or 5 days, because I mean we triplicate, right? So it goes pretty quick. Um, so going from $1,000 to $3,000 a day, you're like, all right. Going from 3 to 9, you're like, let's hope for the best. 9 to 27, you're like, well, I mean, it keeps being so stable, it should be fine. But when you go from 27 to 81, you're like, you're crossing fingers, you're checking stats, you're seeing. But if things go well, then and usually they do. Like, the beauty of YouTube, and in general media buying, is that it's predictable. So you have a feeling, if it's gonna go well or not, also depending on the day. So if it's Saturday and Sunday the day after, and you're gonna go nuts on the budgets, you can be a bit more aggressive in that. And also, you don't always have to triplicate. I'm talking about triplicating, but also you can just increase the budget by 50%. So from 1,000 you go from to 1.5. Like it all comes down. But I'm just saying what happened back then. And yeah, what made me go over it is just checking the stats, going back in weeks, seeing which days perform better. And then it's a scientific bet you're making and on a winning ad, and it's gonna go well, especially if you have enough margin. So if the ROI is not slim, we're not talking about 5-10%, but 20-30% plus, then you know that it's very likely going to be profitable, and it's very unlikely that you're going to lose all the money. So, but yeah, if you start scaling, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you've got some room for error there if you have good
Yeah,
ROI. Did you
yeah,
notice you would refresh your stats more as you would up the spend?
yeah. But I stopped doing that rather quickly because I understood it was pointless. It just became fun. You just want to refresh. But I don't do any intra daily budget increase. So I increase, and I check my stats the day after. This is where I got. So at first I wasn't like that. I was checking like hourly, just making sure. But after like let's say a month or two, I was like, okay, I understood. That's how it
It's
is.
working.
It's working. So you should like zoom out, also chill, because if you're there on the computer just stressing all the time, you're gonna make bad mistakes. You're gonna interfere with the process, and you're gonna do things you're not supposed to do. So less is more, also in this case, in terms of action. Sometimes we're the first one that fuck up everything. Well, everything is okay, and it should be touched. So let the machine do the job. The algo knows much better than you how to spend its budget. And of course you're gonna tap it you're gonna tap it left and right every now and then. But so sometimes you increase the budgets, you decrease the budgets, you add ad schedules, you maybe focus on a few placements on Facebook, on YouTube, you just let it run. But other than that, there's not much to do. So in fact, one guy in my community was like, dude, I increased my budgets. It's 9 a.m. What do I do now? I was like, I don't know, man. Go wake surf. What do you want from me?
Go
Like,
to the pool.
yeah, exactly. Because it was coming from drop shipping. So drop shipping is super intense. Like, it takes 15 hours a day, 10 hours a day to do everything, because you need to work on so many things. But if you have a winning campaign and you just need to increase the budget. You can literally go out and do whatever. And that was also something I had to get used to, that I'm doing these numbers and it's okay to think about something else. And that's also something that had to click in my head. No.
No, awesome. Good to know. Good to know. I'm sure everybody listening is enjoying it as well. Um, so let's get away from marketing for a second, while still touching on it. Uh, what is something outside of marketing that you think impacts your success? Like, is it staying healthy, going to the gym? Is it a good diet? Maybe a certain relationship, a morning ritual,
Supplements.
whatever it may be. Supplements, yeah.
No, I'm too young for supplements. I mean, I do take some, but not the ones I'm selling, because they're all for plus 35. I think to stay creative, you need to do a bunch of other things. You need to, and that goes for everything, like if you're, it's almost a paradox. It's counterintuitive to stop doing what you need to do the most in order to be the best at what you need to do the most. So if you're just paranoid, if you're overthinking, if you're always there, you never take a break. I see people getting consumed by the game and not having any fresh ideas. But detaching yourself, taking care of other parts of your life, working out, as you mentioned, doing other things, and then coming back at work and really crushing it is really going to help you. Because, I mean, we need to hustle, we need to work, and it's not like we can just sit around and do nothing. I can't do nothing all day. Like, I need to do something, otherwise I explode. That's how I am. But sometimes I consciously need to put my energy into sports or other activities, so that my blood flows, I get better ideas, I go for a run, and then I have a, I don't know, fresh new idea, and I go back at the computer and execute it. But if you never take time off, and you're just getting consumed by the game, it's not smart. And I used to be like that. I used to sit at the computer for way too long, that it was healthy too. And sure, at the beginning it might be needed, because you need to grind, you need to test different things, you need to learn the game. But even then, like, I wish I had more balance, because balance brought balance. I mean, there's no work life balance is bullshit, because sometimes you just need to grind, you just need to put in the hours, and sometimes it's just better to take some time off to have fresh ideas. So self-awareness helps. But yeah, I do it for the lifestyle. I don't do it just for the bank account. I love money, but I put my freedom at first. So I like to work on things that also give me freedom. I would never trade my time for money. And yeah, that's why I love affiliates. That's why I love working with companies such as yours, such as MaxWeb, which gives good products out, and I just need to run traffic to it, and the rest is being taken care of.
All right. Well, thank you. We appreciate you working with us as well.
You know?
So I figured we'd close it out on some advice to newer affiliates. If you have any advice for newcomers into the industry, whether they're your students or not, what
Yeah,
would be some parting advice to them?
just go for it, man. Test products, lower your expectations, put in time. If you don't see sales right away, welcome to the club. Everyone went through that. I spent $1,000 to see my first conversion. You know how much I got for my first conversion? $3, because it was a lead gen offer. So thinking it's easy, it's wrong. It's simple, but it's not easy. It requires time. It requires some budget, and it's just a matter of testing it and getting better at testing. Because at first you don't really know what you're doing, and if you're new to this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So you're insecure about everything, like how to pick the right offer, how to properly set up pixels, how to everything. So, and that's fine. Like, um, it would, if you feel like you have a disadvantage compared to any other that made it, you're being rich. It's everyone went through that. So welcome to the game. It's grind. It takes time, but it's possible, because I go to conferences where 5,000 people show up, and the average makes $100,000 a month in revenue. So if you think you don't have it, you can't make it, then you're probably right. Be but just know that many people do make it, because they stick long enough to it. They lower the expectations, and they just keep testing, because you're just one campaign away from massive success that is going to turn your life upside down in a very good way. So if you're working at the job, you're being you're a student, and you just want to change your life, remember, just one ad on one campaign that can make all the money that you need to start living a different life. So just go for it, keep testing, and yeah, scale it, baby.
It's awesome. Positive mindset, persist through the problems until something works.
Yeah, usual stuff that will always work. And if you think like, oh yeah, I know about it, oh I heard about it, then yeah, then just do it. I think intelligence is measured by the life quality someone lives. So if you're not happy with your life quality, with your lifestyle, then just change it. Try get in uncomfortable situations, go for it. Just take the steps and stick to it. A lot of people just jump around. Oh, I tried this for a month, didn't work. I tried affiliate marketing for 8 freaking months before I saw any profit at all. So don't come to me saying, "Oh, it's hard. It didn't work. I launched. How many campaigns did you launch? 2. Oh, okay. Go back to work. How many campaigns?" Another guy asked me like, "I don't know. I launched 10 campaigns. Still nothing worked. Cool. I had to launch probably 50 campaigns before I made any profit. So welcome to the game." Yeah.
Yeah, keep going till it works. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's great advice to leave it on. So Alex, thank you so much for joining us. Hope everybody
Thank you.
enjoyed and got some valuable insights out of this.
Yeah.
The glasses are back on for the end.
Yeah,
Go check
man.
out
Follow me on
Alex on
Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah, Instagram and YouTube. Subscribe to the MaxWeb channel for more content like this. Thank you all for watching and have a good one.
Respect. Peace.